it'll actually record. So welcome to our team call. It's the last Monday in August. Can't even believe it. But things are going really well. I think our challenge groups are totally amazing. At least our Morning Meltdown 100 is. I know we had like a little reboot of our Rise Above Tribe and Ultimate Portion Fix groups this past week. I don't know how many people are actually adding to them because I don't see a lot of engagement on the posts, but just know that they're there. Like if you have people that are like, I don't want to do Morning Meltdown 100, I want to do the nutrition only group or this or that, then there is something there for them. I do think at some point we're going to have to combine those or somehow like get everybody else in one place because it's just a little bit much right now. So if you have suggestions on that, let me know. The 3-day refresh is still on sale. So if you have people, just the kits, not the actual challenge packs, but if you have people that want to actually do that, then make sure you're reaching out. I always just kind of follow back up with people that I talked to in the past about it. And I'll let them know that it's on sale. A lot of times I just like search in Facebook for anything that I've ever posted about a 3-day cleanse, and I go back to all those people and just keep it simple like that. Or if you go like back to your old posts, if you call it like a 3-day vegan cleanse or a 3-day reset or a 3-day detox, and go back to anybody that may have asked you questions about that post. Or if you just want to repost other people's results and stories and put like, send me more info, that's totally cool too. It will be a part of our summer sale on Friday, and I'll make a really long post about it tomorrow. But basically the things that are going to be part of the summer sale are Morning Meltdown 100 challenge pack, of course. We are going to put collagen in there. We're going to put beach bars in there. We're going to put Energize in there. I feel like we always have to put that. We're going to put 3-day refresh challenge pack. Then there is going to be Hydrate by itself, Daily Sunshine by itself, Shakeology by itself, and I think that's it. Then there's like one a la carte option where you can combine like 3 different options, and then there's a gift card offer. The thing to know about these sales, we cannot as coaches offer cash back on anything. It's totally illegal from Beachbody's perspective. So when we call it a sale, sometimes they get a little funny about it. What you can do though is offer like a $10 Amazon gift card or a $5 Amazon gift card. So what we did was like, we came up with say 10 offers, I guess. And we attached some sort of gift card offer to it. Or if it was an item like Morning Meltdown 100 challenge pack or like a 3-day refresh challenge pack where they can use a $10 off promo code, that's their offer for that. So that's the way it's going to be set up. We're going to do posts throughout the day. I think I set it up to go like noon to 5, just thinking like it can cover West Coast, East Coast. And it's like the end of people's workday. A lot of people are going to get off early because it's a holiday weekend, and it will help us, 1, end the month strong, 2, start September strong, because there will be people that kind of trickle into September. So what we do is we post each offer like 1 every 30 minutes, and I think it'll be a post rather than a video, just because I feel like it's really hard for people to watch videos these days. We might have a video going live in the morning explaining the process, which I think helps people. But then after that, it will be post. If you want to take one, you totally can. We can just schedule them. You don't even have to be at your computer. And we'll basically explain, if you want to snag this offer, just tag your coach and say, this is what I want, and we'll reach out to you and get you set up. And then there's a drawing for a $50 Amazon gift card, which I'll cover that. That's not for you to cover. You have to just cover the $10 or $5 gift cards that go with the offer if you're the coach who's selling it. It's just like way too much money that ends up accumulating for me to do it all. So I do the giveaways, like the big stuff. And our $50 gift card will go out Friday night, like do a drawing at, I don't know what I put, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Even if we have to do it the next day, totally fine. And then what we'll do is Friday evening, open up the offers for the rest of the weekend, and we'll do one final drawing on Sunday night for like, I think I put $30 Amazon gift card. And I think what you should do when you do these things is not expect that everyone is just going to see what we're posting, right? So if you've talked to certain customers about certain programs or nutrition, or if you have a customer who you know really wants to try out beach bars, or you have a customer who you know really wants to try out collagen, tag them in the offer and say like, here's what we were talking about. And that really helps get engagement going. And then the other thing I would ask from you guys is, if you're not going to be one actively posting, to try to be like the fly on the wall that's actually engaging on the post rather than just liking it. Like, you know, kind of jam it up a little bit, make it look more exciting, get more comments going so it keeps bumping it back up, and just keep the excitement going, because I think sometimes in these things it's like no one knows what's going on because there's so much stuff happening. But if you just focus on that offer like for that 30 minutes, then it makes it a little bit easier. Everything in there has a coach price and a customer price. The one thing I will say is, like, for you, you have to decide if you want to honor like giving offers to your existing coaches because they're already saving so much. A lot of times offers are more for like new coaches signing up, because obviously in that case you're going to be receiving commission, so it's not like taking money out of your pocket, you know? So that is the basics of the summer sale. I'm going to be tomorrow in our team page linking the summer sale, like here's the group, here's how to invite to it. I honestly, for these things, just go back to every person liking my posts or commenting on my posts or watching my stories and just say, thank you for following along with me. I'm doing this really awesome end of summer sale or back to school sale, whatever you want to call it, on Friday. And I just want to invite you. I don't know if you've ever thought about joining us, but here's a way to kind of learn about everything that we're doing. And I link the Facebook group right in it and let them add themselves, because I don't want to go through all this back and forth of like, well, if you're working on this goal, then maybe this is why it's right for you, whatever. If they say, sure, I really would love to, obviously you could say, click on that link, but then start a conversation with them. Ask them if they're working on, ask them if they have certain goals, because you don't want to just leave them flat and like expect that they'll see everything in there. And you can know whenever the sale starts, like what you want to tag them in and show them, like, here's what we were talking about. And honestly, some people do really well with these things. Other people don't do as well. I don't know what it is. I can just say, like, continuously having conversations with the people that you're inviting is probably the biggest thing. So with that being said, if you have questions about the summer sale tomorrow, I'll make the post on our team page and you can put in there everything you want to ask and we will talk about it. I have given to some of our like business building threads, like just a quick, easy invite. Don't overcomplicate it though, you guys. And this is something that you can literally invite everyone to. Like, even if you've been so scared to talk to people, this is a way to just be like, hey, here's what I'm doing. My team's going to share this. I'd love to have you. And I want to share just quickly, because some of you guys are just totally doing amazing, just some recognition real quick. I just went in that really quickly. So I'm going to share my screen. And I was going to post this in the team page, but I'm single parenting today, and I just told Kelly it means everything's taking me like 6 more hours than it's supposed to. But I just wanted to share the recognition I just put together. Wonder if I can do like preview mode or presenter mode. But look at this, you guys. Look how many ladies are on here, how many coaches we've added, how many ladies are really close to getting an invite to our Fit and Fierce like upline retreat. It's in Destin in October. And they had some really easy requirements, I think, to meet, like hitting Success Club or adding coaches to your team or rank advancing. And we have Jenna, who just signed her first coach, and I think she's working on signing her hubby to get to Emerald. We have Destiny, who's at SC2, and I know she's pushing for Emerald. Stacy's at SC2, and I know like last month she ended up adding like 6 people in one weekend, but she's 1 Emerald away from Star Diamond, so we really need to rally around her. If you get to 1 Star Diamond, you get your invite to the leadership retreat. And you're basically considered within Beachbody, like, here, you're leading a team. You're doing something that's duplicating itself. So that's really amazing. Kelly is at SC2. If she hits Success Club and locks in Diamond, she can go to the leadership invite. We have Brandolyn, who just hit SC4 today, and she added a coach, so she's halfway to Emerald. Nicole hit Emerald last week, and she's at SC4. So if she locks that in, she'll get her first month of Success Club, which means she'll get that cool tank that Sarah shared. My mom, I don't know, I shouldn't recognize her really. I help her run her business, but she is back to Diamond now. Amanda is like so close to Diamond. I know she's pushing for it, but she's at Success Club. She locked that in. I know she's pushing for the leadership retreat. Sarah is officially a Success Starter. If you guys don't know what a Success Starter is, it means basically like in your first 3 full months in the business, if you hit Success Club, which basically means you help 3 customers, at least with a challenge pack, you can be called what's called a Success Starter, meaning that you get a free ticket to our summit, which next year is in New Orleans, and Sarah's going to get a free ticket to that. And it means you get special recognition. Your name's going to be on a banner there, and she's locked in the first 3 months in her business in Success Club, which means she's getting leads, bonuses, all the good stuff, because she's also Emerald. So that's really awesome. It's very hard for people to do a lot of times coming into this, because a lot of times people want to work on themselves first, but she dove right in. And if she locks in Diamond, she can go to the leadership invite, or excuse me, that should say leadership retreat invite. And then Ashley is at SC10. She totally crushed her ultimate reset, and she is very close to Diamond, and she's added 3 coaches to her team this month. So I just want to recognize all these ladies. I know this a lot of times when you see it in the page, you're like, I don't know what that means. I couldn't do that. All it means, you guys, is really that you're sharing what you're doing and you're inviting other people to join you. maybe they don't join you with a challenge pack, which is more what this recognizes. But honestly, if they join you with Beachbody On Demand, or they join you with like a nutrition option, eventually they probably will show up as somebody who has a challenge pack, or somebody who joins you as a coach. So just, it means that these ladies are inviting to their businesses, they're growing their businesses, and they're probably actually seeing more success. So that's the cool thing. So I just want to recognize all of them, and I'll post that in the team page tomorrow too. Now, I'm talking really fast because I feel like a Q&A, like questions are all over the place, but I know that Stacy and I talked a little bit. And Stacy, if you want to go through some of the main questions that you got first, and then we can go into other things that I feel like we've been talking a little more about lately, I think that might be helpful.
I couldn't find the mute button. I had my computer set up to try to do it on my computer, and then forgot that it wouldn't work. And so I have my iPad right here, and I'm like fiddling on my computer trying to unmute my iPad. So I have a few different ones that were brought to my attention. I definitely think, Sarah, you are the best at explaining kind of how to do placement of coaches and like discount coaches and business coaches and stuff, like to make income when you've got your husband enrolled and stuff like that. I know you're the best at going into detail of that, if you don't mind covering that in a minute.
Yeah.
And basically, well, part of going into that is like the benefits of Emerald that we've covered. When you go to Emerald, having the coaches, one on your right, one on your left leg, that is making your business basically open. That makes Team Cycle you eligible for those Team Cycle bonuses. And I know we've covered some of this before. We've thrown it out there a lot lately. But that means you've got your Team Cycle bonuses that are going to start happening at Emerald. They're $14. Then they go to like 18. Sarah at Star Diamond is at 21, I think.
Nope, they just stopped. They stopped at 18.
Oh, never mind. Okay, for some reason I thought they kept going.
No, you start
but there's other bonuses.
Quarterly bonuses there.
Yeah. So those start happening. You're eligible for leads. If you have hit Success Club 5, then you're going to get free commission leads. So anybody off of infomercials, just off of internet. I actually just got one that I reached out to, and she's friends with a girl that's on our team. She lives in Colombia. Like, it was just one of those weird small world things, and we've been talking. So sometimes those can be really nothing, unfortunately, and sometimes those leads can be super great. Like for Sarah, Ashley was a lead, and here is now a rock star, awesome coach. And then you also are eligible when you get the SC10 with it. You get commission leads on top of it too. Sorry. But you get those commission leads, so you also make money off of some of the leads. Plus you get those free leads. That's a big on hitting Emerald. Sarah will go in a little more detail on the placement with your husband being there at the top, being so important, and how to do that placement. You good? Good. Okay. Sorry, Jonathan went running in the dark, and I don't like that. And he just got home. But one thing that was brought to attention is like kind of covering topics of like, if somebody just wants Beachbody On Demand, but they don't want a whole challenge pack, like how to address that. And for me personally, I try to meet them where they are, and I try to see, ask the questions, find out which like why they're just wanting just bod, like, or if they're already having some type of class that they go to and they just want something extra, or if if there's health reasons why they for some reason think they can't have Shakeology, or if it's a budget, and sometimes then if it's a budget thing, then I'll be like, this is a business, like too, like you can sit here and you have that extra accountability from sharing your journey, and you can make that extra money back to cover your shakes by having, sharing the business part and holding yourself extra accountable with it too. If also I mean, Sarah, do you have any more you could expand on? Like if people are just, they don't want that challenge pack, but they're just wanting like say bod and that's it.
Yeah, so I think the number one thing that most of us hear is either just like no or ghost, right?
Mhm.
Or I don't really need help with nutrition, is what I hear a lot. And when I ask why, because I'm not really afraid to ask why, I think a lot of us are afraid to ask questions. And I just ask all about you, like, well, tell me about what your life looks like. Like, what do you eat in a day now? What do you struggle with? Are you, craving certain foods every single day or taking any medication? Like, and I always say, of course, if you don't feel comfortable answering these things, that's fine. But if
Yeah.
you do want help, I honestly find that, like, exercise is a small piece of the big puzzle, right? And, I don't get a lot of pushback from people on price because I ask the right questions. And I think a lot of it's just letting them do a lot of talking. And what we do when we first get excited about this is we just want to word vomit everything and be like, you need this and this and this and this is why. And they're like, mind blown. I just shut down. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm done. And that's a lot of times when it's hard to transition them to Beachbody On Demand. You're like, but you can do this as a fallback. And they're like, well, you just told me I need all those things, right? And now you're saying, but that would work too. So if you let them kind of lead the conversation in the beginning and you're asking the right questions, just to like, okay, well, what are you doing for workouts? And how much time do you want to spend on workouts? And what have you struggled with in the past? Or have you tried this in the past and failed? Because I find a lot of old Beachbody people can get a little bit more excited about these workouts we have now. They're not doing the same workout every day on Monday or every day on Tuesday, and they're not like left hanging at the end of 21 days, right? Like now it's really long-term accountability. And if you ask questions versus telling a lot of information at first, a lot of times you can tie it all back together. So oftentimes what I see with people is that they say their nutrition is really good, but ask questions. I hear like, I might have coffee all day with some like sugary creamer, and then everybody's an intermittent faster these days. So that just means they're skipping meals, but everybody calls it intermittent fasting. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me what your intermittent fasting looks like. I'm not going to judge you. I just want to know. Like I talked to somebody last week and she's like, well, I only eat between like 4 and 8 and it's just one meal. And it's usually like this, and this. And then oftentimes I'll get that beer in before 8 o'clock, but then I'm fasting again. I'm like, okay, so we have some things we should talk about. And I'm not judgmental at all. I'm like, yeah, I've been the girl that like will stop eating at 8 and down wine beforehand and be like, but I'm good. I didn't eat after that time, whatever. But in reality, like Shakeology is about getting the right amount of nutrition in a day. Our meal plans are about getting the right amount of nutrition in a day. And they're all geared towards giving you the same results you're looking for with eating more food, but it's nutrition-based food. It's macros and micros, and it doesn't have to be confusing. It's literally just, here's how many servings of proteins, here's how many servings of veggies, here's how many servings of healthy fats. So a lot of times when I hear people say they just want to do workouts, I'm like, okay, cool, but like, are you feeling tired during the day, or are you having like a lack of motivation to work out? Do you think like what you're eating plays into it, or are you relying heavily on energy drinks if you're feeling tired? And I let them control the conversation, but I just ask those like one-line questions in between. And oftentimes I can then say at the end, okay, well, I know you didn't really want to work on nutrition, but I heard this, this, and this. So I do think that our nutrition plans will be beneficial. You have the option of course, following the nutrition that's on Beachbody On Demand. It's all right there for you. But because you said you have like gastroesophageal reflux disease, IBS, and you take all these medications and you're tired all day, like you might consider trying Shakeology. I'm not saying that's everybody, but like oftentimes it's something. It's like the energy person or the sweets person or the like I don't eat anything all day person. And there's a need basically for Shakeology within that. And if they still are like totally opposed to it, like I signed a girl 2 weeks ago who I've been friends with on Instagram for like 2 years. Like literally we've talked on the phone. We've like cried on the phone together. We talk every day on Instagram, and she's a juicer and she is obsessed with her juicing. And I told her, like, I'm not going to mess with your juicing. It looks ridiculous and it looks like so messy and so expensive, but she finds it therapeutic. I said, so maybe the pre and the post workout is a better option for you. And that's what she went with. Totally fine. Not going to mess with it. Like I always say, like, here's why this would be good. But if you're not interested, then don't worry about it. And then of course, if they're like, cost is still a factor, which a lot of times I can kind of like figure out in conversation something to pinpoint with them as to why this actually probably isn't that big of a cost differentiation, I'll just say, just start with Beachbody On Demand. Start with this meal plan. I send people our Morning Meltdown 100 meal plans with the shopping list. If they're like, I'm struggling with nutrition, I'm like, here, try out these meal plans we've been using. If it's somebody who tells me they want to, like, I don't know, use their Spiralizer more, eat more meatless meals, I send recipes whenever they come up. And I just try to get them in our groups, even if it's with something, you know, and then if they get ready for it, they'll come to me. If not, no big deal. I don't freak out about it, but I also feel like if you're asking the right questions, oftentimes you'll see that just workouts are not what people need, you know?
Yeah. And if you're nervous about asking questions a lot, sometimes I'll lead with, I hope you don't mind, but I would like to ask these questions first so I can better, direct you like to what would help you with your goals, instead of just like, because sometimes they're like, well, can I know the price? Like, what's the price? And I'm like, well, can I find out this stuff first? And then we can talk about that, because I don't want to just be selling you something. Like, I want to be giving you something that is what's going to work for you, and it's going to address what your goals are and what you're actually really struggling with. And then a lot of times they'll be like, oh, she actually really does care. Like, when you put it out there like that.
Yeah, like, and even customers I get who quit, I'm like, I'm not going to stop talking to them about this. I'll keep trying to get them to come back and use their bot or whatever. And I think sometimes it's just like when we hear no once, our walls go up, when in reality for them, that's just their starting point, you know?
Well, and I feel like if you hear no from them and you stop talking to them, then you're proving to them exactly what they thought, that you were just trying to sell something to them and you're not honestly caring. And it can be something simple. It's just, hey, how are you doing? How are your goals doing? How are you working towards your goals? I've got another group starting. You don't have to buy anything. We're just, refreshing, and we can, start 21 Day Fix again or something or whatever. Another one was like oversaturation of the market, brought up.
I don't ever hear that.
Do what?
I don't ever hear that. I saw somebody post that in Fit and Fierce the other day, and I was like, what? No. And if you listen, like I went to, so I just posted 2 calls. One is Emerald University, which is like breaks down Emerald. This call is not supposed to be like, let's deep dive into everything, but like, if your goal is building your business side, your team, then you should listen to the Emerald University call, because it tells you how to build your right foundation. And then if you want to know, like, how do I talk to customers? The second call is called, it was like a closing with class call. And it's the way to ask the right questions.
That one's very good.
Yeah, to get the right answers. And that was my version of closing the class, but there's one from another coach, Andrea Crowder, where I basically copied all of her like tips and I gave the call. And it was like a year ago. But I mean, there's literally whatever you have questions about in the Beachbody world, there is a YouTube video on. But also ask us, because we could probably direct you to the right, like YouTube. Oversaturation in the market. Honestly, I think sometimes for us, we might think it exists because our feeds become so like inundated with Beachbody coaches, especially even if it's not just our team. It's like, oh, you went to this event and you commented on that coach's, I don't know, post a few times, or you follow this coach because you really look up to them. There are so many people out there who do not know what Beachbody is. Like, they'll be like, oh, that old like P90X thing, that thing still exists. If you run in circles of people that have like one Beachbody coach friend, yes, they know what it is. But there is, I don't think, an oversaturated market. And I honestly think that with the expansions to France next, and then it's going to go to the rest of the EU. They started there outside of the UK because we already have like French customers. They know the language. It's easy. I think Germany's coming, where there's a lot of military presence, which is helpful for us. I think their plans, what they said at Summit, are literally like all, especially of Western Europe first, and it's going to go from there. Asia, Australia, Ireland, like these things are coming. And while we might look at it and be like, nope, I don't know anybody there, what good is that going to do me? If you are an Emerald coach at least and you hit Success Club, which means you help 3 customers a month, you get free leads from Beachbody, which means your leads can come from Canada, they can come from the UK, they can come from the Bahamas. I've had a few from the Bahamas, like because they're obviously a territory. They can come soon enough from France. And oftentimes these foreign countries, they speak more English than we speak their language. So you can generally communicate. Like I had a customer from the UK respond last week, and he's like, yes, feel free to call me. And I saw his phone number, and I was like, I don't really know how to call you, because he needs nutrition help. So I was like, do you happen to have like FaceTime or something that we can do? But I mean, some people are responsive, some people aren't. But like, you connect with one customer in that market, and you have a good relationship you're building, they will recommend you to their friends. They will maybe become a coach, and you have a team that expands there. So don't ever write that stuff off. I think that oversaturation is just kind of silly. If you're working with a company that is reputable, that is like, you know, we obviously have seen Advocare cut all their distributors. Herbalife went through a ton of litigation. Like Beachbody, I think, does things in a really smart way. They take their time with it, but they have a lot of like value. They really care about their network. And I think if you sat down with any of the like corporate trainers and asked them about that, they would tell you a little bit of what like the vision for the company is too.
And I think it goes into expanding your network, like continuing like to grow your Instagram, which I mean, I know I can't say much on that myself. Like I'm struggling right there on Instagram if you're looking at my page. But like when you continuously expand your network, find places that you know, commonly go to, or frequently go to, or, you know, some kind of groups that you follow, like a mom's group or something like that, and you're growing your network, you will be expanding out to other people that don't know what Beachbody is, to help grow with that too concern. I just think a lot of the Facebook algorithms are now making your whole Facebook feed look like all you know are Beachbody people, when there's so much that don't still too. Yeah. I used to worry the same thing myself when I first started.
Well, and in reality, you guys, what I've realized is the more I shut off like all these other coaches that you follow and you compare yourself to, and even some of us comparing ourselves to each other, and you just do the basics, which Beachbody obviously calls the daily vital behaviors. Like if you're doing your workout, you're posting about it, you're doing personal development, and you're talking to people about what you're doing, even if it's just like, hey, thanks for watching me work out every day on my Instagram. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but hey, I'm really appreciative of the fact that you are. Have you ever thought about joining me? You will grow a business. Like if you show up and do that every day and you kind of blind out the rest, it's the times whenever you start getting in your own head and you are paralyzed and you stop talking to people and you're too scared to talk to people, or you're too scared to invite, or you're too scared to make a post. Like, of course, your market's going to feel oversaturated and some other coach is going to snag people before you. But if you're out there doing your thing and you're showing up as you're going to connect with your people, you know? That's just my opinion. I see other coaches a lot who I'm like, I don't really get them. They're not my people. And I see who their team is. Like, you know, you go on some trips and you see really successful coaches. They all have pink hair. They all have nose rings. They all have like sleeves. And they are like the whole team. And they find each other literally on Instagram by like hashtagging pink hair, nose ring, like, you know, stuff. And I'm just thinking, well, good for them. That's who they should be with. Like, those are their people. My people are not those people. I probably wouldn't have as much to talk about, you know? And I think that's the beauty of this. You can create your own community with it. Not saying that you want everybody to look and act like you by any means, but if you're being authentic, you're going to attract people that like the next person, even if they're the most successful coach in the network, maybe you wouldn't attract because you're authentic, you know? I'm trying to look back at your messages to me. Does anybody have any questions while we're kind of just kicking things around?
I
think sometimes like
we did the emerald thing to cover that really.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second a little bit more. The things that really like we can do best are to share our own stories and whatever makes that best for you. Like if you're somebody who loves to talk on live video, great, do live video. It freaks most of us out. Like to go live on Facebook, that 3, 2, 1 countdown, a lot of us are like, no, like I'm not me anymore. But if you can do stories and you can talk on stories like me, I can go on stories and be like, last week I'm like, oh, my nipple, like, you know, whatever. And I just kept going. And I'm like, I probably wouldn't have been comfortable to say that like months ago, but because I do it every day, it's like, doesn't matter. I think pick whatever makes like you feel best. If you're a storyteller, you're a writer, like post might be your thing. If you're somebody who's like, I don't have time for that, I don't want to do that, then make stories your thing and just show up there, you know, and show up there consecutively, you know, and you might not see traction immediately, but I guarantee if you do it for a couple months in a row, a couple weeks in a row, people are going to start to take notice. And I know we have people on our team that could probably speak to that, because there are some people that are like, they go through phases of just working on themselves and keeping it to themselves, and they go through phases of where they really share it, and they see the traction pick up whenever they're sharing it, because it's really like very minimal that people are going to come up to you and be like, you look fabulous, I want to do exactly what you're doing. You know, that would be great, but it just doesn't happen that often, especially now. And I think just doing that every day, and then actually reaching out to the people that are showing up in your feed on a regular basis and just saying whatever feels good to you. Like, I really appreciate you watching. Have you thought about joining me? Or I really appreciate you watching. This feels weird for me to do this every day, but because of you, like, I'll keep doing it, you know, or something like that. People respond to that so well. And if you want to send a voice message and say it, that goes even further. And just start doing that regularly. And I guarantee that filling your challenge groups, or like, you know, adding coaches to your team becomes easier. If you're sharing about it, it's much easier to get people to do it with you, you know? And I will say, like, on the income side, of course, adding customers is great. And adding customers is how you build. But adding teammates is how you grow exponentially in this. And that's a lot of people's area of discomfort. But that's why getting to Emerald, that's why signing your spouse, that's why continuing to add coaches every single month and going Emerald over and over again matters, because ultimately in this business, like, if you want to actually experience the benefits of passive income, which just means like you can go to bed and you can still earn money without you being there physically, like 24 hours a day, that's why people do this, right? It provides like a life of freedom. That being said, you work your ass off in the beginning. So you work your ass off, you share what you're doing, you share the coaching side of things, you get people to join you, and you start to build in a way that's smart. And then you find people that want to work like you do, and then your team grows and grows. And they say in this business, like, we come into it and we get really freaked out, or we get really overwhelmed by the amount of hours that we're putting in. You really just have to find like 2 to 5 people that match your level of energy if you're showing up, and you have a successful business. The problem is a lot of us don't show up, and we don't show up long enough to attract those 2 to 5 people. We give up, or we get frustrated, or we take a step back. I feel like I hate that term. People say it all the time. I'm like, stop it. You weren't really in it in the first place. But you just show up and you do it. And even if it takes you like 2 years to become a diamond coach, no big deal. Like, if you're doing those things every single day and people are matching your level of energy, you're going to grow something, you know? So I think that's the side of things where it's more confusing. Like, knowing where to place people is a whole other call. And I think, honestly, what I always just say is ask me, ask your coach, ask whoever can look in your downline and show you exactly where to put people. And I thought I would show you just real quick, because I signed into my account just to show you. This is going to look really confusing, but I will share my screen really quickly. Brandon, I think this is what we were talking about earlier, right? So, all right. So, oh, it kicked me out. So in Beachbody World, I have what's called like my first business center. And then I have Colin's business center, and then my mom's business center, and then I have a second business center, which sounds really confusing, but really all that it means is I basically started as the top coach. I've only had one coach ever added to me by my coach. She doesn't work the business at all. So I am on what you would call like a dead leg. Like, my growth has been much slower than other coaches because of that, but that's okay. Like, you grow your own thing, right? The first 2 coaches I signed were my mom, she's here, and then I have Colin, my husband, over here. And basically, the reason why you want to do this is because as you grow and as you add coaches and as your coaches add coaches, every coach that gets placed beneath these coaches and every customer that they ever enroll, your spouse who's here and your mom who's here, or whoever your main people are, I always just suggest, like, if you go watch the Emerald Call, picking 2 people close to you to be your top 2 people can benefit from all the activity that goes on here. So when you get to like a diamond coach, your coaches below you that are Emerald and above will get what they call, everybody Emerald and above gets team cycle bonuses. But if you're a diamond coach, you get a percentage of what they're earning. It's only 1%, but it starts to add up over time. And I just want to show you real quick, like for Colin's sake here. Like he has, because I've put him at the top of my organization and I have built below him. Some of them are my coaches, some of them are his coaches, some of them are our coaches' coaches. He has, let's see, 59 coaches on his left leg now and 64 on his right leg. And he doesn't like sign anyone unless I need to like build him back up to diamond. He was built to diamond once. He doesn't like, he uses Hydrate every day. That's about it. I run every like ongoing order that I have through him. But in the beginning, I ran like basically every customer after I hit Success Club through him. And that meant that I was cycling on customers that I put through his account, and I was getting the commission from them because they were running through his account. And in the beginning, that doesn't seem like much, but like over time, let's just see. I'm going to show you guys my earnings. I'm going to tell you the disclaimer. It's not a lot in this first business center for next week. But look, so my team bonus is what is the most, right? Like 162. This is just one business center. Colin gets paid. My mom gets paid. My second business center gets paid. And ultimately, this team bonus comes from what happens beneath my mom and beneath Colin. And this looks like mumbo jumbo, of course, to everyone because this is foreign speak. But basically, like you have right volume and you have left volume, and everything on the left is what goes underneath my mom. Like it's not her personal stuff, but it all trickles up to her. So she gets a bonus, and then Colin gets a bonus, and I get a matching bonus. And so this just shows like last week, Colin earned $98 for doing nothing. You're welcome, Colin. And my mom earned $72 for doing nothing. And then my second business center earned $56. And they earned more than this, like in customer subscription renewals and their own like team cycle bonuses. But this is, or their own matching bonuses, I should say. But this is like just what they've earned in 1 week from me building up beneath them, these 3 business centers. So when people freak out about signing their spouse, I'm like, well, you know, you could wait until your business is 6 months down the road or a year down the road, and you could add all these coaches beneath you and then put your spouse like down here where my second business center is, but then that's like $50 he's missing out on for just 1 week, and it's $15, $16, whatever to sign your spouse. Team Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income from the coach opportunity. Each coach's level of income is a direct result of his or her efforts, diligence, or skill. Sorry, I have to say that. But anyways, this doesn't look like a ton of money, you guys, but this is 1 week. Like 1 week, first business center earns $300, $160 is just cycle bonuses. I don't really run customers through this account anymore because it's at the very top. It makes sense to run them through Colin or through my mom or through my second business center because of where they are. And all that volume trickles up, and that means that my first business center gets more cycles. And I get a matching bonus for what every Emerald or Diamond coach beneath me gets. And it doesn't start big. Like, you know, I can go look at my first paycheck and it was $50 just for this one account, right? And then over time I added Colin, and then I added my mom, and then I added my second business center. And now it's layers of income that's growing. And that's why you do this. It's a trust fall, but it's a trust fall saying, I'm here to grow. I'm here to actually take advantage of what this compensation plan offers. And I'm going to trust my coach and trust all these successful coaches before me that said, this is how you grow. And here's what I will say. When you get yourself set up and you have your own business center and then you sign a spouse or you sign another family member, talk to your coach about where they should go for your business, because some of you do have legs that we have helped build for you. Meaning that like you have probably logged into your account and you've seen you have one new coach in your organization. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't add that person. No, one of us did. But that means that it's a good thing for you because you can benefit from any volume that they bring in or they actually like accrue themselves. And knowing where to put people is always a game time decision. It's like a puzzle piece. You know, you have to kind of figure it out as you go. And it unfortunately is not a, like, everybody's not going to fall under the same boat. But there is a great way to do it to build your income more beyond what it could be. And that is usually by signing your spouse on the leg that's not the team leg that other people will help build. And then on the other side, I would still put somebody significant to you. And then what you do is you decide, do I care about Success Club for myself or not? It's purely a recognition thing, you guys. Like, it doesn't really have much impact on your actual business, except that you would be getting the leads versus your spouse. If you don't care about being recognized for Success Club, get your spouse to Success Club, let them get all the recognition, let them get all the compensation, and then let all that volume trickle up to you. If you care about Success Club, you get yourself to Success Club first, and then you get your spouse there. If you're signing coaches, that's a different story because you probably want to get yourself to the next rank first. But I would get myself to Emerald, and then if I know I'm just like totally wanting to capitalize on the compensation plan, I'd sign my spouse, I'd run every order through my spouse, and I'd let the volume all trickle up, and I would build the other side if I needed to. If not, you can focus on building that one side at first. After you get to Emerald, though, you have to get to Emerald for it to matter. So that is very confusing. Some of you are like, all right, my mind shut down whenever you started talking about a right leg and a left leg. Totally get it. But just know that you probably are going to come into this more with income goals than you are with rank or recognition goals. Beachbody just pushes rank and recognition, and they know that it's like a big shiny object that they're kind of like, you know, putting in front of your face to make you chase after these things that might lower your income. If you want to maximize your income, there are other ways to do it, but getting yourself to Emerald, signing a spouse are like basically the foundational building blocks to doing it. I wasn't really told that at first because I didn't really have anybody to talk to me about it, but I can tell you. And there's YouTube videos on that too. But I talked a little bit about in Emerald University. I did a team call like, I don't know, 6 months ago. And I think it was called, Are You Missing Out on Income? And it was literally like going through a lot of those, like, here's why you might want to do this versus this, because you might be chasing after the Success Club Monopoly board, which they give you at like, what, 3 months? Great, but that might not give you the most income, you know, and who's going to play Monopoly? That's Beachbody anyway. I will say the caveat to that, if you sign up for the Success Club trip, because the Success Club trip is great, and you sign yourself up, you have to get yourself to Success Club to get that trip basically paid for. So that's where you decide what matters to you, you know. You could always sign your spouse as the coach going on the Success Club trip and get them there first too. Okay, I know we went over. Anything else that's like, I want to talk about this? Nope. Well, I'm always happy to do a one-on-one. I know, Wendy, maybe we're going to chat tonight if you want. Anyways, happy to see you here. And if anybody else wants to chat, we can totally. Last few things, if you help 3 customers this month, and for me, I don't care if it's your spouse or you, and it's with some sort of subscription, then, or a challenge pack, then you'll get the Morning Meltdown 100 tank. If you hit Emerald this month, we're doing like a Rock Your Rank thing, and you do get some special swag for hitting Emerald. And that's about it.
What would you say would be like the benefits of signing? Like, do you normally personally try to push to sign the person as a coach versus a customer most of the time? I know I normally just go ahead and try to sign them as a coach, even if they're not like actively, just as a discount. But what is your way, Sarah?
It depends on where you are in your business. Like if you know you're pushing for a rank then, and you need coaches, then yeah, I would probably push more for coach. If you're not really pushing for a rank and you don't feel comfortable bringing it up until after they like show up in a group for a while, then I would wait. The reason why is because ultimately when somebody does join you as a coach, you are getting cycle bonuses versus commission. So commission is normally 25%, and that's higher than a usual $14 cycle bonus. That being said, if you're building faster and faster, like your cycles are going to be greater. But some people get really upset in the beginning when people say no to coaching, and I have to just say, listen, if they're not really ready to be a coach, then you're actually going to increase your income for them being a customer. Of course, you can't get to that next rank as quickly. And you'll see, like if I have people that I know want to join me for Morning Meltdown 100 and they're like, I've got a 6-month goal of this. I'm like, listen, I'm going to set you up as a coach because these are your long-term goals. You're going to save more money this way and it makes more sense. Totally fine. Another thing is if they're a military spouse, they're always going to be set up as a coach by me because they get all their business fees waived. But if I'm kind of in that in between, like, not really building to the next rank kind of thing, or I don't have like that set thing that I'm focused on at the time. Like right now, my next goal is 5-star, but there's not really anything I can do except add working coaches who maybe want to get to Diamond next to get me there. If I know they just are going to be purely a discount coach, I'm not going to push them, So I think sometimes it's your judgment. It's not like it's one rule over another. A lot of people out there say sign everyone as a coach. And then a lot of times when you see people progress in their business, they're like, only add builders. It's not going to benefit you as much, You can get a $100 bonus for every 5 coaches you add in a 5-week period with a challenge pack. And that's one benefit to adding coaches, because you get that bonus right away. And I've had plenty of coaches I've added that have quit after like 2 months. So I probably did earn more money that way. But I don't know. There's no like black and white answer to that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not like an income driven person, you guys. I know that's not everybody's thing. It started with the feel goods, and then it turned into like, okay, I'm not like the most passionate about health and fitness, but I do love helping people get better, like whatever that is, or feel better. And the income thing had to become more of like my why or my driving force to keep me looking at this as like, it's not always going to be fun and like butterflies in my stomach about helping someone lose 50 pounds. Like there are some days where I'm like, you just got to show up and do the work. And so I have to look at like both sets of goals, and it changes for everybody. Like in the beginning, it might really be like, I just want to lose 50 pounds for myself. Don't let my talking about income piss you off, because that's just like 4 years in reassessing goals, right? And I think that that's just what you do, like you have to keep it relevant for you and keep it meaningful for you. And I know it makes me show up and work out every day, but I had to kind of like create bigger reasons why I would, look at this as like a legit part-time job for myself.
Perfect.
Do you have different advice?
No.
I know everybody's like mentality is different, and I think it's just whatever stage of your business and whatever you're working towards,
Pretty much. I'm the same as you. I just know some people are wondering kind of like why sign as a coach, like what's the importance of it, and when should you and when shouldn't you, kind of thing. So,
well, I mean,
explain things better than me.
Yeah, like my mom, I mean, I just knew she was going to use Shakeology long term. She was able to come off of her pre-diabetes medication after like 2 months of staying on Shakeology. And so I was like, I'm signing you as my first coach. I signed her before I signed Colin. And she's like, okay, whatever you want to do. And, 3-4 years later, like she gets a paycheck from it and she still uses Shakeology. Won't do anything else I say, but that's fine. So she's a perfect discount coach to have there. And I have some other ones that are really long-term like that. And I have some discount coaches that turn into working coaches, and I have others that just quit. And you can't really pinpoint what people are going to do in the beginning.
Brendolyn, yes, there is, and I'm trying to, Sarah might know exactly where it is. I haven't looked at it in a while. To find like the list of where the rates are and what the qualifications are for each. I think there's even something on Pinterest that some coaches put together for that, but it is in our office.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you know where it is off the top of your head?
No, I mean, here's this graphic that a lot of people use. Share it.
Sarah, when you post these links and stuff like that in here, and then our call is over, do the links still say when you post the recording and like the comments or anything?
I don't think so. I don't think it's like YouTube like that.
I didn't think it did either. I was just wondering, like.
All this is in our team page, though.
Yeah.
Like Emerald University, closing with class, and then what it takes to be at each rank is not. But I did a Diamond University call, so that's in there.
I can share. Danielle. What's her name? Top coach. What's her last name? Short hair.
Latoni.
Yeah, she has a good visual that kind of talks a little bit about just the Emerald, Ruby, and Diamond coach bonuses and different stuff like that. And there's a few other ones I can like kind of share in our biz accountability group if people want like visuals.
And don't worry, when you get close to certain levels, I'll start mapping you out too. I think it helps some people to see it.
She will.
All right, guys. Well, I'll try to do like a little notes from tonight's call on the team page when I post the recording and post these other links so people can see it.
Well, thank you.
And if you come up with more questions, then just ask them in the team page and, you know, we'll put the info. But tomorrow I'll be sharing a lot more. I can't believe I woke up at 4:50 today and I'm still functioning.
And your kids stayed asleep.
I did. Oh, wait. I need